Did you know that February is National Senior Independence Month? It is. And I come to you with a cautionary tale, firsthand experience of what it's like to have your independence threatened. So it's mid-February, but I spent Christmas into the new year being non-weight bearing and utilizing a walker because I have 2 meniscus tears in my right knee. Now, I need to back up and tell you that I knew last spring that there was some kind of an issue, and I did what I tell people not to do, but I ignored it. And for almost a year now, it has been bothering me, impacting my life in one way or another. But it got to a point over the holidays that the pain was so significant, I couldn't stand on my leg. I figured that I probably had some kind of a tear, and my anticipation was that I would just wait to get through the new year and I would have it taken care of. What I wasn't anticipating was the feelings I had around not being able to drive. Now, I should know this because I know the data, and what the data shows, what the data says, is that for retirement age folks, and I'm not quite retirement age, but I'm getting there. It's coming for all of us. I should know this. But what the data shows is that for retirement age folks, the loss of the ability to drive doubles rates of depression and anxiety. Now, let me tell you, the anxiety I had about having to ask someone to give me a ride somewhere was horrendous. And if I wasn't depressed, I was on my way to becoming depressed. And this is from somebody who has resources in their life. I have 2 very capable and willing sons, 2 very capable and amazing daughters-in-laws, and I have a whole plethora of friends who were ready, willing, and able to drive me wherever I needed to go. But for me, it was about, number one, having to ask. I didn't want to have to ask, but having to go off of someone else's schedule and timeline and not having the freedom or ability to just get up and go as I wanted to get up and go at the drop of a hat or all willy-nilly, right? Just to get out of the house. You know, the top 4 things that retirement age folks are most fearful of, and depending on which study you look at or which article you read, these 4 things kind of jockey for first place. But on that list are significant health issues, loss of financial stability, combating loneliness and isolation. But also on that list is the fear of losing independence and mobility. I often do like man on the street interviews with folks that I bump into, and not too long ago, I found myself in a conversation with a gentleman, and I always want to know, like, what is your number one concern as you go into your retirement years or whatever, right? Like wherever the conversation's going to go. And his answer was not surprising to me. His answer was he feared injury or illness, not because he didn't think that he could recover from an injury or an illness, but he feared injury or illness because it would threaten his ability to be independent. It would threaten his ability to be able to go and do as he pleased. It would threaten his independence and his ability to see his grandkids as he wanted, to freely interact with his friends, it would impact his ability to just get up and go and meet family for dinner or whatever. So again, he was not concerned about his ability to recover from a fractured hip. He was concerned about his ability to be independent and mobile. And if I'm being honest, the majority of the conversations that I have with people in this demographic, that's generally what it comes down to for them. They're not afraid of getting sick or losing, they're not afraid of getting sick or breaking a bone necessarily. They're fearful of not being able to care for themselves. They're fearful of losing that independence. So I tell you all of this because I am passionate about these things. You know this about me. But because it is National Senior Independence Month, I felt like it was appropriate and timely for me to share my own story about loss of independence and how that impacted my life. I'm not looking forward to having a surgery for this repair, but I realize now at this point that I need to in order to maintain my independence. And I would just encourage you that if you don't have a plan, set up a plan for yourself. If you're caring for elderly or aging loved ones, help them to set up a plan for prolonging their safety and their independence and their mobility at home. I would love to have a conversation with you. Feel free to call me at any time. We could set up coffee. We could set up a Zoom call. We could just talk about the things that concern you or them and try to create a plan together.